We all do it. We overthink. We get stuck in our heads, replaying the same thoughts over and over. We analyze every decision, every word, every action, until we feel paralyzed by our own thoughts. But here's the truth. Overthinking doesn't help you. It only holds you back. The first step to moving forward is simple. Stop thinking so much. When you feel yourself spiraling into doubt or uncertainty, take a deep breath. Focus on the present moment, not on the what-ifs or the maybes. Just here, just now. Overthinking is like running in circles. You think you're making progress, but you're only getting more lost. Your mind creates these endless loops of doubt, questioning your choices and imagining all the things that could go wrong. But guess what? Most of those things never happen. They're just stories your mind tells you. You see, life isn't about perfect decisions. It's about taking action, making mistakes, learning, and growing. When you stop overthinking, you give yourself the space to act. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, because that moment doesn't exist. And let me tell you, waiting for perfection is the biggest trap you can fall into. You wait for everything to be just right, but then time passes and the opportunity slips away. You start overthinking again, asking yourself, what if I had done it differently? But the truth is, you can't change the past. The only thing you control is what you do right now. So let's make a deal. Whenever you start overthinking, remind yourself that action beats doubt. Instead of questioning every little detail, just make the move. Even if it's not perfect, it's progress. Every step forward is a step closer to where you want to be. Now, it's easy to say don't overthink, but I know it's harder to actually do it. Our minds are wired to analyze and predict, but the key is understanding that overthinking doesn't equal progress. In fact, it often leads to more confusion, more fear, and more hesitation. That's why the most successful people don't spend time overthinking. They trust themselves, they trust the process, and they focus on the next step, not the whole staircase. They don't wait for everything to be perfect. They just move. Think about the things you've accomplished so far. How many of those moments did you plan out perfectly before taking action? Probably not many. You probably took a leap, trusted your instincts, and figured things out along the way. You have to understand, perfection is an illusion. There will always be unknowns, uncertainties, and things you can't control, but that's okay. The fear of the unknown is what keeps you stuck, paralyzed in the planning phase. The key is to embrace that fear and move forward anyway. Think about the times you've taken risks, even when it felt uncomfortable. Those were the moments when you grew the most. It wasn't the safe choices, the comfortable ones, that changed your life. It was the bold, sometimes messy steps that pushed you outside your comfort zone. When you overthink, you are letting your fear of failure control your life. You start focusing on all the things that could go wrong instead of seeing the potential in what could go right. I'm not saying you shouldn't think or plan. Planning is important, but when the plan becomes a barrier to action, it's no longer helpful. Overthinking isn't just about analyzing details. It's about avoiding action because you're scared of making mistakes. Mistakes are part of the journey. You have to make them. You have to fail. But the most important thing is to keep going. The truth is, the world doesn't care about your mistakes. What people remember is whether or not you kept going. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be persistent. You just need to take that first step, even if you don't know exactly where it will lead. Because each step is a lesson. Each step brings you closer to your goals, even if you don't have it all figured out yet.
You have what it takes inside you. You've always had it. The only thing standing between you and your goals is the fear in your mind that tells you, what if it's not good enough? What if I fail? But failure is not the end. It's the beginning of something better. Every failure teaches you something new. It's part of the process. So instead of fearing it, embrace it. It's your stepping stone to success. It's also important to remember that you don't have to have all the answers. It's okay to not know exactly how things will work out. In fact, it's better that way. Life is a series of surprises, twists, and turns. The more you overthink, the more you miss out on the unexpected opportunities that could be waiting for you just around the corner.
When you stop overthinking, you start seeing possibilities you never noticed before. You start taking chances that your overactive mind would have convinced you to avoid. And that's where the magic happens. When you're not overthinking, you're not paralyzed by doubts. You're not stuck in an endless loop of what ifs. You become more present in the moment, and you start to notice the opportunities around you. You begin to understand that life is not about having all the answers. It's about making decisions, learning from them, and moving forward with confidence. Overthinking creates a barrier between where you are and where you want to be. You may feel like you need to plan everything perfectly, but life doesn't work that way. No matter how much you plan, there will always be things that don't go according to the plan, and that's okay. What matters is how you react to those unexpected moments. Let go of the need for control. You can't control every outcome, and that's part of the beauty of life. Some of the best things that ever happened to you came from moments you didn't expect. Imagine if you had overthought those moments, hesitated, and never took the leap. You can't live your life based on fear. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of what others will think. All of these fears will keep you from moving forward, and ultimately they'll hold you back from becoming the person you are meant to be. But what if you decided to embrace uncertainty instead of fearing it? What if you took action without having all the answers, trusting that the right path would reveal itself as you went? The world doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards action. The more you move, the more you learn, the more you grow. This doesn't mean you shouldn't be thoughtful or intentional with your decisions. Of course, it's important to think things through, but don't let that turn into a barrier. Don't let it stop you from taking that first step. The first step is the hardest, but it's also the most important. When you stop overthinking, you give yourself permission to fail. You give yourself permission to try, to stumble, and to get back up again, because that's how success is built, one imperfect step at a time. And let's talk about this for a moment, self-doubt. Overthinking often comes from a place of not trusting yourself enough. You start questioning whether you're capable, whether you're good enough. But let me tell you something. You are more capable than you realize. The only thing holding you back is the fear in your mind. The moment you stop overthinking and trust yourself, you will be amazed at what you can accomplish. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. The only difference is how we choose to spend that time. Will you spend it overthinking, waiting for the perfect moment, or will you take action? Will you step into the uncertainty and start making things happen? The most successful people in the world aren't the ones who have everything figured out. They're the ones who act anyway, despite their doubts. They've learned to trust the process, even when they don't see the full picture. They've learned that imperfect action is always better than no action at all.
Think about the last time you achieved something meaningful in your life. Did you have everything planned out perfectly before you began? Probably not. You had a vision. You took that first step, and along the way, you figured it out. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't easy, but you kept going. That's what makes all the difference: consistency and persistence. When you stop overthinking, you're free to put in the work. You're free to fail, learn, and adopt. And this cycle of progress, action, reflection, learning, and growing moves you closer to your dreams. One thing I want you to remember is this: you are not your thoughts. Your mind can trick you into believing that if you don't have every detail figured out, you'll fail. But that's not true. Your thoughts don't define you, and your mistakes don't either. What matters is your commitment to keep going, to keep improving, and to keep moving forward. If you stop overthinking, you free yourself from the constant pressure to be perfect. You start showing up for yourself, taking action even when you feel uncertain. That's the kind of mindset that creates lasting change. Overthinking also feeds into the comparison trap. You start looking at others, seeing their success and thinking, they've got it all together. Why can't I be like them? But that's another trick of the mind. Everyone has their own journey, and the path to success doesn't look the same for everyone. The more you overthink, the more you start comparing yourself to others, and the more you forget about your own unique strengths and abilities. Instead of comparing, start focusing on what makes you unique, on your own progress and your own growth. Remember, your journey is yours, and only you can walk it.
And the moment you let go of the need for perfection and stop comparing, you open yourself up to so many opportunities. You stop holding yourself back. You start to realize that you're capable of so much more than you ever imagined. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in your life is learning how to let go of control and embrace the unknown. Overthinking thrives in the space of uncertainty, and the more you try to control every aspect of your life, the more anxious you become. The truth is, no one has control over everything. Life will always have its surprises, its challenges, and its twists, and that's what makes it exciting. When you overthink, you miss the beauty of the moment. You miss the lessons hidden in the challenges. You miss the joy of discovery because you're too busy worrying about what could go wrong. But when you let go of the need for perfection, you open yourself up to new possibilities, new experiences, and new ways of seeing the world. Think about this. The best moments in life happen when you least expect them. When you stop trying to control every detail, you start to enjoy the ride. You start to let life unfold naturally, and in doing so, you start living more freely. Overthinking is a barrier to true happiness and success because it keeps you stuck in your own head, constantly questioning, doubting, and second-guessing. But when you choose to act instead of overthinking, you begin to experience life in its fullest form. And here's something really important. You are enough as you are. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, and you certainly don't need to be perfect. Overthinking often stems from a belief that you have to do everything right, or you'll be judged. But that's just a story your mind tells you. The reality is, people will respect you more for taking action, for showing up with authenticity, and for being real, mistakes and all. So stop overthinking and start living. Start doing the things that scare you, the things you've been putting off. It doesn't matter if you feel ready or not. Just take the first step, and then take another. Each step builds on the last. Each step moves you closer to your dreams, closer to becoming the person you were always meant to be. Remember, progress is progress, no matter how small. Every step forward is a victory, and every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. You are capable of handling anything that comes your way. The only thing standing in your path is your own fear and hesitation. Overthinking keeps you stuck in that fear. But when you stop overthinking, you give yourself the freedom to move past it, to break through those barriers, and to start making real progress in your life. Think about it. When you look back at your life, the moments that shaped you the most weren't the moments when you were sitting around overthinking everything. No, they were the moments when you took a leap of faith, when you acted on instinct, and when you decided that failure was just a step on the path to success. And that's exactly how you need to approach your future. Stop worrying about the what-ifs and start focusing on what you can do now. Every action you take, no matter how small, is a step towards the person you want to become. The more you move, the more clarity you get. The more you act, the more your confidence grows. Here's something else to keep in mind. Your thoughts don't define you. Overthinking can make you feel like you're not good enough, like you're incapable of handling the challenges ahead. But that's a lie. You are more than your thoughts. You are your actions, your persistence, your resilience. And when you stop overthinking, you start letting your actions speak for you. The next time you find yourself overthinking, ask yourself, what would I do if I weren't afraid? That question will shift your mindset in an instant. The fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of making a mistake, they all fade when you realize that the only real failure is in not trying at all. So don't let fear decide your future. Take control. Take action. When you do, you'll begin to see that the more you act, the less you'll overthink. You'll build momentum, and before you know it, you'll have moved past the doubt and into a place where you are actually living the life you've always wanted. And when you start seeing progress, no matter how small, that's when you'll realize that the key to success wasn't in planning every detail or waiting for the perfect moment. It was in making the decision to start, despite the uncertainty, despite the doubt. When you stop overthinking, you also stop procrastinating. Overthinking is the fuel for procrastination. You spend so much time trying to get everything perfect that you never get started. But here's the secret. Done is better than perfect. Perfection doesn't exist, and waiting for it will only hold you back. Your dreams are waiting for you, but they won't wait forever. Every second you spend overthinking is a second you're not living fully, not acting on your goals, not working towards the life you want. So take that step now. Take that first imperfect action and let everything else fall into place. When you stop overthinking, you tap into a powerful force, clarity. The more you act, the clearer things become. Often, the reason you feel lost or stuck is because you're thinking too much about what might happen, what could go wrong, or what's missing. But the answers you're looking for are not in endless thought. They're in action. The more you move, the more you discover. Remember, you are in control of your mind, not the other way around. Overthinking is a habit, and habits can be broken. Every time you catch yourself spiraling into doubt or indecision, remind yourself that you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take the next step. Trust that the next step will lead you to the next one, and soon you'll look back and realize how far you've come.
There's no perfect time to start. The best time is now, and that means putting aside the fear of mistakes, putting aside the need for certainty, and simply starting with what you have. You don't need the whole map. Just take the first step and let the path reveal itself as you go. And here's a little secret. Even the most successful people are afraid. They are afraid of failure, of rejection, of not being enough. But they don't let that fear stop them. They keep going because they understand that fear is just a signal to move forward. They understand that fear and discomfort are part of the process. They know that staying stuck in overthinking keeps them away from their potential. Every successful person you admire has faced moments of doubt, moments when they question their ability or their path. What makes them different is that they took action despite the fear, despite the doubt. They trusted themselves, they trusted the process, and they kept going. You can do the same. You don't have to know every step of the journey. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need the courage to begin and the persistence to keep going. Trust that you'll figure it out along the way. Trust that you will learn, you will grow, and you will succeed. But none of this happens if you stay stuck in your head, overthinking every possibility. So here's your challenge. Stop waiting for things to be perfect. Stop waiting for the right time. Stop waiting for everything to fall into place. Just start. Start imperfectly. Start messily. Start today. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to not have it all figured out. What's not okay is to let fear and doubt keep you from living the life you were meant to live. Every time you choose to overthink, you rob yourself of the chance to take action. Your mind can become a prison filled with endless what-ifs, scenarios, and doubts. But your life is happening right now, and the only way to shape it is through the decisions you make today. The longer you wait to take action, the further you move away from your dreams. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that the perfect plan will come, that one day everything will just fall into place. But the truth is, that day will never come until you decide to act. You create your future, one decision at a time. Overthinking creates a false sense of control. You believe that by thinking about everything endlessly, you're somehow preparing yourself for the best outcome. But you're not. You're just keeping yourself stuck. Life is unpredictable, and no amount of planning or worrying can change that. But what you can control is whether or not you take that first step. That's where real power lies, in the present moment, in the actions you take today. Don't let fear of the future or regret about the past keep you trapped in overthinking. Instead, look at your life right now. What's one thing you can do today to move closer to your goal? Take that step. The best part is that as you take action, you'll start to see results. Maybe not the big life-changing ones at first, but small signs of progress. And that's all it takes to build momentum. When you see even a little success, you begin to trust the process. You begin to trust that if you just keep moving forward, you'll eventually get to where you want to be. Remember, you don't need to have the whole picture to start. You only need to see the next step. When you're overthinking, you're trying to see everything at once, and that's impossible. The key is to focus on what's in front of you. What can you do right now? That's where your power is. Every time you act, you learn something new. And every time you learn, you grow. Overthinking doesn't allow for growth. It just keeps you spinning in place, analyzing and questioning everything.
But action, even imperfect action, moves you forward, and forward is where the magic happens. One of the most freeing things you can do is accept that you don't need to know everything. Life is full of unknowns, and trying to predict every possible outcome is a waste of energy. Overthinking feeds on fear of the unknown, but the unknown is where opportunities hide. It's where the most exciting possibilities lie. If you could see all the outcomes in advance, you wouldn't be living. You'd be controlling a machine, not experiencing the beauty of growth, change, and discovery. When you overthink, you try to play God. You try to anticipate every possible scenario as if your thoughts could shape reality. But they can't. Life will always be unpredictable, and that's what makes it an adventure. If you want to truly live, you need to stop trying to control every detail. Instead, focus on what you can control, your actions. What action will you take today? What's one thing you can do right now that will bring you closer to your dreams? If you focus on the next small step, the bigger picture will become clearer over time. You don't need to have everything figured out in advance. You only need to start. And the more you start, the more clarity you'll gain. Here's the thing. The longer you overthink, the more you miss out on living. When you're stuck in your thoughts, you're not fully present in the world around you. You're not seeing the opportunities that are right in front of you. You're not connecting with the people who could help you or inspire you. You're too busy trying to control the future, and because of that, you're not experiencing the present. But when you stop overthinking, everything changes. You start living fully. You start embracing the unpredictability of life instead of fearing it. And when you embrace uncertainty, you open yourself up to endless possibilities. The world becomes more exciting, more vibrant, and you begin to see the hidden gems all around you. You also start trusting yourself. Overthinking often comes from a lack of trust in your own ability to handle challenges. But when you stop second-guessing every move, you realize something powerful. You are capable. You have everything you need to face whatever comes your way. And if you don't have it yet, you'll figure it out along the way. Stop questioning yourself. Trust that you'll make mistakes, and that's okay. Mistakes are part of the journey. They don't define you. What matters is that you keep moving forward, keep learning, keep growing, because the only true failure is in not trying. The key to living a life of progress, not perfection, is accepting that you will never have all the answers. And that's okay. Overthinking makes you feel like you have to know every single detail before you can take action. But the truth is, you don't. You just need to take one step at a time. And that's how success happens, step by step, action by action. What if I told you that the less you plan and the more you act, the better your life will be? The longer you spend analyzing every scenario, the further you drift from your goals. You start focusing on all the things that could go wrong, and by doing so, you create a reality where you're paralyzed by fear, stuck in inaction. But when you take that first step, even if it's small, you start shifting your reality. You stop being a spectator in your life and start being the creator of it. You stop worrying about what might happen and focus on what's happening right now. And that shift, that change in mindset is everything. Every time you act, you build momentum, and momentum is powerful. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but the more you move, the bigger it gets. That momentum pushes you forward, making it easier to keep going, even when things get tough. Success isn't about perfection. It's about consistent effort. It's about showing up, even when you don't have all the answers. It's about trying, failing, learning, and trying again. And as you do that, you begin to realize that the process is the reward. It's not about the destination. It's about what you become along the way. Every moment of doubt, every challenge, every obstacle is shaping you into someone stronger, smarter, and more capable. You don't have to see the whole road. You just have to take the next step. And once you take that step, the next one will become clearer. The more you move, the more you discover, and the more you realize that overthinking was just holding you back from your true potential. It's time to break free from the chains of overthinking. Every moment you spend trapped in your head is a moment you're not experiencing life to its fullest. The world is full of possibilities, but you can't see them if you're always in your own thoughts, worrying about every move you make. You need to take action. Think about this. Every time you choose action over overthinking, you strengthen your belief in yourself. You prove to yourself that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. The more you act, the more confident you become. And the more confident you are, the less room there is for doubt, fear, and hesitation. Overthinking robs you of your energy. It keeps you circling the same thoughts, draining you of motivation and clarity. But when you focus on action, you inject your life with energy. You move forward, And that forward momentum brings new ideas, new solutions, and new opportunities that you wouldn't have seen if you were too busy overthinking. It's time to let go of the need for certainty. The world doesn't come with a guarantee. No one has the perfect blueprint for success. But the most successful people are the ones who stopped waiting for certainty. They embraced uncertainty and moved anyway. They understood that certainty doesn't exist in the future. It's found in the present moment, in the choices you make right now. The more you take action, the more you realize that nothing is as scary as it seems. The obstacles you feared, they're smaller than you imagined. The mistakes you thought would ruin you, they're just stepping stones, lessons that help you grow. Life isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about learning from them and moving forward. And when you stop overthinking, you give yourself the chance to succeed without the pressure of perfection. You allow yourself to make mistakes, to stumble, and to learn. And guess what? That's how you grow. That's how you get better. That's how you get closer to your dreams. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take the next step and trust that the answers will come as you move forward. So stop waiting for the right moment, because that moment will never come. The right moment is now. When you stop overthinking, you stop letting fear control your life. Fear is what keeps you stuck in your thoughts, paralyzed by possibilities that may never even happen. Fear thrives in uncertainty, but when you choose action, you face fear head on and begin to dissolve it. You realize that fear is simply a part of the journey, not the thing holding you back. Ask yourself this: what's scarier, taking a leap and failing, or staying stuck in the same place forever because you were too afraid to act? Failure is not the end. It's just a temporary setback, a lesson in disguise. The true failure is when you allow fear and overthinking to stop you from trying. By taking action, you build courage. Each step you take, even if it feels uncertain, helps you grow stronger. And that strength becomes your foundation. The more you act, the more fearless you become. The more you step into the unknown, the more you realize you don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to start. Overthinking often leads to a cycle of avoidance. You think about all the things that could go wrong, and as a result, you freeze, you delay, you procrastinate. But that's the trap. Action breaks the cycle. When you take that first step, you disrupt the fear. You take back control. You stop the endless loop of doubt and give yourself permission to move forward.
And here's something else. You are never alone in this journey. We all face fear. We all deal with doubt. Even the most successful people struggle with it. But the difference is, they keep moving forward despite it. They don't wait for fear to disappear. They act anyway. And so can you. The only way to silence overthinking is to replace it with action. The more you act, the less your mind will have time to come up with reasons to doubt yourself. Your actions will speak louder than any thought, and your progress will become the loudest voice in your head. Remember, every small action counts. Even if you feel like you're not moving as fast as you'd like, you're still moving. Momentum is built slowly, step by step. And eventually, those small steps will lead you to places you never thought possible. Don't underestimate the power of consistent action. There's something liberating about knowing that you don't have to have it all figured out. The idea that you need everything to be perfect before you start is a lie. The truth is, there is no perfect time, no perfect plan, no perfect person. There is only this moment, right now. And what you do right now will shape your future. Think about it. When was the last time you achieved something great by overthinking it? Probably never. Overthinking paralyzes you. It makes you second-guess everything and drains your energy. But when you take action, even if it's imperfect, you make progress. You move closer to your goals. And that forward movement builds confidence. Each time you make a decision and take action, you give yourself permission to trust yourself more. You realize that you don't need all the answers. You just need to trust that you will handle things as they come. You don't need to control every outcome, because most of what you're afraid of will never happen. And even if something doesn't go the way you planned, you will learn and grow from it. Remember, the key to success isn't about knowing everything in advance. It's about embracing uncertainty and being willing to try.
It's about acting in spite of your fears and trusting that each step will bring you closer to the person you're meant to be. Every time you take action, you break free from the mental trap of overthinking. You begin to create momentum, and once momentum builds, it's hard to stop. You'll start to see progress in ways you never thought possible. You'll realize that you were capable all along. You just needed to stop overthinking and take that first step. And here's something to remember. You are your biggest obstacle. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is your own mind, your doubts, your fears, your constant need for certainty. But when you break free from overthinking, you break free from those mental barriers. You are stronger than you think, and you are more capable of achieving your dreams. But to do so, you have to stop overthinking and start living. Take action, even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect. Just take that first step. The beauty of life lies in its unpredictability. You can't plan for every twist and turn, and trying to do so will only exhaust you. You don't need to have all the answers. What matters is that you show up. You show up for yourself, for your goals, and for your future. Action is what turns dreams into reality. Overthinking keeps you stuck in a place of uncertainty, constantly replaying every decision and wondering if it was the right one. But here's the thing. The more you dwell on past decisions, the less time you have to focus on what really matters, the present moment, and the next step. When you stop overthinking, you give yourself the freedom to be imperfect. You give yourself the permission to take risks. And in doing so, you open up opportunities you never even imagined. Every risk you take, every action you make is a step forward, and each step brings you closer to your goal. And it's okay if things don't always go as planned. Plans change. Mistakes happen. That's a natural part of life. The key is not to get stuck in the disappointment of a misstep, but to learn from it and adjust. Each misstep is not a failure. It's a lesson that teaches you something new. The more you act, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you grow.
Your mind will always try to convince you that you need to be perfect, that you need to have everything figured out. But perfection isn't real. Success isn't about being perfect. It's about being willing to take action, to adapt, and to keep going. Perfection is an illusion. Progress is real.
So stop waiting for the perfect moment. There will never be a time when everything aligns perfectly. You just have to start with what you have, where you are. Take the first step, even if it's uncertain. Trust that as you take action, the path will reveal itself. And when things don't go according to plan, don't see it as failure. See it as part of the process. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every mistake, every setback is a building block that will shape your success. Imagine this. Every time you make a decision, you're moving closer to becoming the person you've always wanted to be. Every choice, every step, no matter how small, is progress. The moment you choose action over overthinking, you stop waiting for the perfect conditions and start creating your own. So, what would happen if you stopped overthinking for just one day? If you decided to simply trust yourself and take action, regardless of the outcome? What would you accomplish in just 24 hours if you focused on doing rather than worrying? The answer is a lot more than you think. When you stop overthinking, you stop wasting time. You stop wasting energy. You stop giving your mind the power to tell you that you're not ready or capable enough. The truth is, you're always more ready than you realize. You've always had what it takes. Overthinking creates doubt. It creates hesitation. It creates barriers that don't actually exist. And in the process, it makes you believe that you're not capable of handling what comes your way. But when you stop overthinking and take action, you prove to yourself that you can handle anything. You trust that no matter what happens, you will find a way to adapt, learn, and grow. This is the power of letting go of perfectionism. It's the freedom to be yourself, to make mistakes, to learn, and to keep moving forward. The moment you stop trying to control every detail, you open the door to new possibilities. You give yourself the space to evolve, to experiment, and to become the person you are meant to be. Every time you choose action over overthinking, you build momentum, and that momentum propels you forward. Before you know it, you'll be looking back at how far you've come. Those small steps you took, the actions you made, will have led you to exactly where you want to be. Every moment you spend overthinking is a moment you're not living. The more you focus on the what ifs and the fear of failure, the less energy you have to actually create the life you want. Overthinking keeps you paralyzed in one place. It makes you afraid to move forward, and yet it promises you nothing in return. It promises no clarity, no answers, no results. But when you choose to act instead of overthink, you make a choice to live fully. Action is what brings clarity. Action is what reveals the path forward. And the best part is, action doesn't require perfection. It only requires willingness. When you take that first step, everything else starts to unfold. You might not have all the answers right away, but you will find your way as you go. And even if you make mistakes, it's okay. Mistakes are not failures. They are part of your growth. Each mistake teaches you something new. It shows you what works and what doesn't. It teaches you to be more resilient. And most importantly, it reminds you that you are capable of learning and adapting. Here's the secret to ending overthinking. Trust the process. Trust that by taking action, even imperfect action, you will get closer to your goal. Trust that the path you're meant to be on will reveal itself as you continue moving forward. Trust that the lessons you need to learn will show up as you keep going, not while you're stuck in your head analyzing every possibility. The future is built on the present moment, and the only way to take control of your future is to take control of what you do today. You can't change the past, and the future is unknown. The only thing you have power over is right now. So what are you going to do with this moment? What action can you take today to move closer to your goals? The truth is, you're never going to have all the answers. Life doesn't work that way. If you wait for the perfect moment or the perfect plan, you'll be waiting forever. And in that time, so many opportunities will pass you by. The key to success is not waiting for everything to be just right. It's acting despite the uncertainty. Every time you choose action, you prove to yourself that you can handle what comes next. You don't need to have a clear map to the destination. You just need to take the next step. And once you do, the next step will become clearer. You don't have to know everything in advance. You just need to trust yourself and the process. Think of all the things you've already accomplished. Did you have a detailed plan for everything? Probably not. But you took action, you learned along the way, and you made it happen. That's what action does. It teaches you. It's how you learn, grow, and become more confident in yourself. Overthinking makes you feel like you need to control every outcome, but that's simply not possible. Life is unpredictable, and the best you can do is adapt to what comes your way. And the more you act, the more adaptable you become. You stop fearing the unknown and instead embrace it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Now, think about your dreams and goals. Are they being held back by your overthinking? Are you waiting for the perfect time to take the first step? The truth is, there will never be a perfect time. The perfect time is always right now. Every moment you hesitate, you're giving fear more power than it deserves. You're giving uncertainty more power than it deserves. But when you act, you take that power back. Take the leap, even if you're scared, even if you're uncertain. Take the leap anyway. You might not know exactly how things will unfold, but by acting, you'll discover exactly what you need to do next. And that's the beauty of life. It's a journey of self-discovery. The more you move, the more you become. It's easy to convince yourself that overthinking is helpful, that by analyzing everything, you're somehow preparing yourself for success. But in reality, overthinking just holds you back. It keeps you in a state of fear and indecision, and the more you stay there, the more difficult it becomes to take that first step. But you already have everything you need to succeed. You have the courage inside of you, you have the ability to adapt, and you have the strength to keep going. The only thing standing between you and your goals is your own mind. Your mind that tells you, wait until you're ready, or what if you fail? But the truth is, you don't need to be ready. You just need to take action. Imagine where you could be if you stopped waiting for everything to be perfect. What if you decided to take imperfect action today? What if you let go of the fear of failure and just focused on doing the best you can right now? You don't need to have the whole journey mapped out. Just take one step forward and trust that the next step will reveal itself when you need it. The more you act, the more you'll discover that failure isn't as scary as it seems. Failure is part of the process. It's not something to avoid, it's something to embrace. Every mistake is a lesson. Every mistake teaches you something new. And the more you fail and keep going, the stronger you become.